Fires raging in the Los Angeles area have reduced some 10,000 structures to ash and rubble, killed at least 10, displaced thousands of others and spread over an area larger than the size of San Francisco. Many of the displaced residents are now sheltering in evacuation centers. The blazes started Tuesday, powered by gusts from the Santa Ana winds, which slackened Thursday, though forecasters warn they could pick back up later this weekend. Stephanie Porter, a volunteer helping the displaced, spoke of the despair she has seen in people's faces and the toll it has taken on her. "I had to take a few moments to kind of put myself together and kind of cry. And then you go back to serve. It just breaks your heart," she told UK broadcaster Sky News.
Fire was coming down, a ball of fire. It hadn't made it to my house, but then I woke up and I seen it coming, so I had to start evacuating. I grabbed my dogs, and I didn't have enough water. It wasn't water, and my house burned down to the ground. So
I smelled smoke. I was sleeping, of course, and my dog alerted me that there was trouble. And when I looked outside, there's embers flowing across my yard. My whole neighborhood is gone. It was a beautiful, unique place.
It's very heavy, yeah. I mean, you walk through and you see the despair on people's faces, not knowing what their next step is, not knowing if their house is still standing. Those that know their house isn't there anymore don't know what to do. I mean, I had to take a few moments to kind of put myself together and kind of cry, and then you go back to serve. It just breaks your heart.
Job.
Silver Dawn, operated by Silver Sea Cruises, became the first international cruise ship to visit Shanghai this year, arriving at the Shanghai Port International Cruise Terminal at the North Bund in Hongkou District on Wednesday. More than 400 tourists from the US, Australia, Canada, Switzerland, the UK, and other countries embarked from there on a 2-day sightseeing trip around the city, with the majority benefiting from China's visa-free entry policies, according to staff member from Shanghai General Border Inspection Station. The tourists were welcomed with lion dance, martial arts performances and intangible cultural heritage experiences right after they landed. The Silver Dawn cruise ship is scheduled to stay in Shanghai for 2 days before continuing its global voyage to Tokyo, Japan.
The Russian military has launched a large-scale counterattack against the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region. Russia says that after Russian troops managed to repel the Ukrainian counterattack of Berdin and Novosotnitsky in the border area of Kursk Oblast, the fighters of the 30th Motorized Rifle Regiment of the North Group of Forces, together with other related units, went on the offensive themselves. According to servicemen, these were some of the most difficult days on the combat contact line in recent times. The Kiev Post media outlet confirms that Russian armored columns and North Korean infantry have launched counterattacks against Ukrainian defenses at the northern tip of a salient carved out inside the Russian Federation in the wake of a recent lurch by Kiev's troops a little closer to Moscow. Kremlin counterattacks since then have slowed and, with heavy losses, reduced the size of the Ukraine-controlled salient inside Russia to a lozenge-shaped piece of mostly farm fields, villages and forests about 30 kilometers wide and 60 kilometers from north to south. Intelligence chief of the Special Forces Detachment Akhmat of Russia with the call sign Shatun says that in the combat zone in the Kursk direction, one should never relax, and the soldiers are constantly waiting for the enemy to arrive in order to meet him in combat readiness. Izvestia correspondent Alexander Fedorchak, who visited the combat line in the Kursk region, said that sounds of Ukrainian armed forces clearing the area and fighting in forest plantations could be heard there. Video released by Ukraine's 47th Mechanized Brigade showed a rare Russian massed armored attack with a half-dozen armored vehicles, including tanks, moving across open snowfields. All are fitted with anti-drone screens. Equipped with US-made M1A1 tanks and Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, the 47th is one of the armed forces of Ukraine's best armed and most combat-seasoned fighting units. Kiev Post says a 47th Brigade statement said its subunits, in cooperation with Ukrainian special operations units nearby, repelled a massive Russian assault that attacked in 6 waves with some 50 vehicles, including tanks, BMP-2 and BMP infantry fighting vehicles, wheeled armored personnel carriers and golf cart-style buggies. The unit claimed enemy equipment, worth tens of millions of dollars, was burned and that 45 Russian soldiers were eliminated and 53 wounded. The Ukrainian armed forces attacked Russian positions in the border areas of the Kursk region on August the 6th. Ukraine has launched a new assault into Russia's Kursk region 5 months since Kyiv's surprise incursion into the same border area. Russia has been trying to force the Ukrainian troops out of its territory by sending in reinforcements, including the North Korean soldiers.